Welcome to RoxTalks, the podcast that helps network marketers grow their business on social media. Today, we're going to be talking about really selling from a place of generosity. And no better person for me to bring out to talk to you about this than Miss Desola Davis. Let me tell you how I met Desola. If you may remember, last month I was telling you on the podcast that I was working on the summit. And with part of the summit, my summit producer, Nicole, had me meet with Desola, an expert on business growth and strategy. And she's really big on the customer experience and journey. And so she was helping me work through and design. I call her a designer. She's a designer because she helps you design your business. And we were slated to have a conversation that was supposed to be all about the summit. And for the first a chunk of it, we didn't even talk about the summit. We talked about you guys, actually. And I knew from that moment that she was just phenomenal. And I wanted to have her on the podcast because she just gets it. And she puts it in a way that, I was vibing off of her. I know you're going to vibe off of her as well, too, where she just makes it really clear and helps you understand why you're in business and how you can make sure that you are successful in business, of course, from a place of generosity. So we're going to dive in. I can't wait for you to meet Desola Davis. And do me this favor, when you listen to it, I would love for you to go ahead and, because you're going to love it, hop on social and let us know. So she's Desola Davis is her Instagram. I'm RoxTalks. And just tag us both and tell us what you think. All right, so let's dive right in. I don't know if you've heard the news, but Social Stories membership is open currently. If you're a network marketer looking for a place where you can really grow as a CEO, where you know and find business strategy and social media strategy that's not only going to help you grow your volume, your team, and your customers, but also get really aware of how to grow your business and why you're in business, then I encourage you to join us in Social Stories. The transformations make me happy, and I'm thankful for them every single day because I see network marketers just like you getting a really great handle on their business and thriving. And I want that for you as well too. But the doors are closing soon. If you like more information on Social Stories, I encourage you to go to socialstoriesmembership.com and you'll see a link right there to get a sneak peek of all that's inside of Social Stories. I can't wait to see you there and in the membership. Desola, it is so good to see you. Thank you for being here on RoxTalks.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited to dig into our conversation.
I am too. And I have to say, just a little backstory, those listening, things you need to know about Desola and I right now that are just really important is that we are recording this because we are bad planners on the 4th of November. So when you listen, remember where you were on the 4th of November. See, there I am. I've slept maybe 40 minutes and Desola's been playing Candy Crush.
Mm-hmm. They have it on 24 hours. So instead of keeping up with current events, for those in the United States, I have been playing Candy Crush for most of the day.
And hey, I just want to say my community who is in Australia and in the UK, they're watching too with popcorn saying you cute Americans, but they're still watching.
Yes. And I am playing Candy Crush and
you're playing Candy
browsing and checking because my piece is so much more important to me right now.
Obviously. But I just want to chuckle because, and I've told you about Desola and how she really is about designing. Can we say that? You're really about designing. So it's funny because in talking to you just a moment ago before we started, she's like, okay, so we're going to do this and this and this. I've never actually had a podcast where the guest is like, and then we'll do this. And then, okay, this will be really good here. I was like, welcome to Desola Talks.
My nerddom is showing. I don't appreciate you calling me out in front of my new friends because that's classic Desola. Let's design this conversation, shall we? I'm a guest on your podcast. But can we design the conversation? Yes.
But honestly, that's how we met. Those of you who were at the Social Media for Network Marketers Summit I want to keep saying last year, and that was this year, know that, and I've alluded to it coming back. And I did tell you during one of the behind the scenes sections about a month ago that I was going to have a guest on who was helping me really design and put together all things for the summit. So
Yes.
this is her. This is
Hi guys. I hope you guys have a great time at the summit.
Coming soon. So
Yes.
Desola, thank you for being here though, because one of the things I realized when you and I were talking, and we talked, is
Yes.
that we really saw eye to eye on business and purpose of that. And so I love having you on here to talk about the art of selling from a place of generosity.
Yes. Yes. I'm really excited to talk about it. I think, especially in social media and online business world, there is a terrible rumor going around that you basically have to shout louder than the next person to be considered better, or you have to put down somebody in order to elevate yourself in some form or fashion, or that you have to use these certain conversion tools. Otherwise, like your product won't get in front of the right people. It's like all of these things that position you as like an us versus them situation. Or one of my pet peeves is with the customer journey, what I've seen in the online business world and just really in sales in general is designing a customer journey that gets you to the sale. Do whatever you can to get you to the sale. And once you get to the sale, congratulations, you're all done. Go find somebody else to do that for. And the problem with that is there is a person who you promised a solution that's still waiting on you to deliver it. And that person is still on the journey, but you, who's supposed to be the guide, if you know anything about Donald Miller, he talks about you being the guide in your customer story. You're supposed to be the guide, and you just up and left this person with less money in their bank because they paid for a service or a solution, and with a new product that they may or may not know how to use. And so my mission is really to bring generosity back into the sales experience so that we're thinking about the person on the other side, the person who had the problem to begin with, the person that's always been in need from the gate, and you being the expert, you being the solution, being more responsible with the influence and the authority and the power that you have over that person. So I love it.
I love that. Was a wonderful intro. It got my juices going though. A couple things.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I think it's important for us to define the customer journey, because in the network marketing world, we don't really use the term customer journey. So could you tell us what that?
Yes. And full disclosure, y'all, I come mostly from a digital and online business background, but for network marketing, let's kind of talk about it as, and the rules kind of still apply, but I'm going to use different examples. So the customer journey for me, as I define it, is from when a person meets you. So when they're a stranger, we just met for the first time, all the way to when their problem is solved, which is very different from what we're taught. As a matter of fact, if you hit the Googles and you Google customer journey, it says from the beginning to the sale, and then rinse and repeat all over again. But it's really from when the person meets you as a stranger all the way to when they can even become an ambassador for you and your business. So perhaps not an ambassador for your product, right? Like you may not be necessarily building out your team for your network marketing business, but this is someone who you've solved their problem to the level or to the degree that now they're just calling their friends, or anyone who has a similar problem to what they had. You're the name that pops up first. You're the person that they want to get in contact with. And they're not looking for a commission. They're not looking to host a party so that you can split the profits. At this point, they just see referring you to other people as the right thing to do. And when you become the right thing to do for other people, your business exponentially grows with less effort on your part. And what I ask my clients to do, it doesn't take that long. It doesn't take, and it doesn't take a whole lot of investment. It just takes paying attention to that human to human connection across the journey while they're still considering your product or while they still have the problem, so that they recognize when that problem has been solved and they can tie that solution to you as the expert and to you as the leader.
So this is a totally, not only is that a new concept, I think, for network marketers, but also it's a different way of thinking because when you join a business, you're not taught, think about what they're going through.
Yeah.
It's, hey, if they say this, you're going to do this, and you're going to,
Right.
and you lead with the business. Always make sure you're one of those people that leads with the business. What do they don't want the business? Well, if they said no, then go to this objection or this, because they really
Yes.
don't mean no, and all the things.
They mean not yet.
Yeah.
And I love, and we were talking before we started recording about my somewhat familiarity with network marketing, but I love it because there's some level of network marketing. I don't actually even think that it's specific to network marketing, but you know how you like when you first start the business, they give you like these scripts. If they say this, you say this back. And then you pause and you wait for them to say things.
Yes.
And then you say this back. And then maybe if they say this or this, because those are the only two things they could potentially ever say, because we researched all humans all over the world. They say only two things. If they only say this, you say this back. That's not really how sales works.
That's not how life works.
Exactly. Imagine going to, let's not even talk about network marketing. Imagine going to Target is one of my favorite stores, guilty. Imagine going to Target and, back when we used to interact with each other in person, you get to the cashier and the cashier whips out a piece of paper and she says hello and then looks down at the paper waiting on you to say something back. And then she says something back and then she like looks to see if your response is on the list. Like that would be really awkward. Wouldn't it be?
Oh yeah.
But especially, and I'll say this for my folks who are just starting business, it is one of the scariest things to put yourself out there and position yourself as an expert to someone who, whether or not they know you, if you're new to business, it's hard to position yourself and say, hey, I have a solution for you. Mm-hmm. But if you flip that on its head and you think about the person with the problem above how you feel about the solution, then it makes selling a lot easier.
Yeah.
You don't need a script to sell. And I'll say this too, I heard something, as a matter of fact, at the time of this recording, I think it was a couple of days ago, that had me almost running around the room. It was Seth Godin who said this. He said, if someone is drowning, if you come across someone who is drowning, do you sit there and go, am I qualified enough to jump into the water and save them? Or do I have enough certifications or have I sold enough products to qualify for this? No, you jump in the pool and you save them.
You figure it out.
Swim, you figure it out. If you can't swim like me, help me, Lord. you at least extend a rod or something, or you go get help. But you don't leave them drowning in their problem. Mm-hmm. And I think we're so caught up in saying the right things or in doing exactly what we're taught in business or in getting the sale, right? And hitting those thresholds so that you can be the golden diamond director, team member, whatever, that we forget that to get there, you're solving people's problems along the way. And if you don't show up as a generous person, or if you don't show up with their problems at the forefront, then you're going to miss opportunities to transform lives because you're so focused on your own agenda and on your own goals and on your own kind of thing. So it makes selling a lot more difficult for you, in my opinion.
And that's probably why and I think even when people are like, I don't want to feel salesy or I don't want to feel this, it's because they're doing what they're not having a conversation, experience. They're just trying to get to buy or join a business.
Yeah.
So you said it was easy. You said it's not that hard.
It's not that
that's
hard.
Like a nice. So what is not hard? Tell us what to do.
Okay. So if you're considering being like, if you don't want to be salesy, that's one of the other things I talk to my clients about. You want to sell without the icky feeling. You want to, have a sales conversation without walking away feeling like you need a shower, or without the other person like slowly backing away because they just don't want to be in the conversation anymore. And like, they're trying to find someone to call them over so that they can like escape. If you really want to do that, you want to consider sales. You want to think about sales as a relationship. And if you're like me, if someone meets me for the first time and they ask me to marry them, I'm out.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, we didn't plan this, just for the record. You're like, seriously, I talk about like dating and carry on. I'm like, wait, did
yeah.
she just use word? That's my word. Keep going.
I'm sorry. I also take things that aren't mine. And it's true. I'm out. Like, so if you're thinking about the sales being a relationship and you meet somebody who has a problem that you know you can solve, the first thing I'm considering is not how do I get them to the sale? It's how do I solve their problem? Knowing that maybe I may not be their solution to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
What you're more focused on is gaining their trust and having them and being able to then influence their buying decision, even if their buying decision isn't to you. Because what happens is if you play the long game there, whenever you do have a product that does match their need, the sale is so much easier.
It's a miracle on 34th Street.
Yeah.
Send them to Campbell's and they come back to you.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
They do. And especially if you're positioning the relationship as the most important thing, if you send them to a competitor or if they choose a competitor over you and they don't have that level of service with that competitor, guess where they're coming back to?
Right back to you.
They're coming right back to you. If you're a new person in business, that looks like having several conversations so that people can describe their problem to you, so that you can hear the words that they're using, so that when you're having conversations with them in the future, you can repeat those words back to them. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it takes a little bit of intentionality when you're asking them about their problem and you're saying, hey, I've got this product that I think may help, but honestly, I just want to get to know you. Because then that lowers their guard.
Yeah.
Right? Versus me walking up to you to say, hey, Rox, I want to sell you something. You ready? Yeah, no. Like no one wakes up in the morning saying, man, I hope somebody sells me something today. I hope someone sends me a message today to sell me something. Man, that would just put that like icing on the cake for me if someone sold me something. No, but we buy stuff every day. Why? Because whoever sold us the thing understood we had a problem, showed us what the solution would be. And we thought, I can actually achieve this solution. I am available to see the solution through. And I believe that the solution will work for me. And that's where you really want your clients to be. So practically, like I said, first it's having the conversation. And then next, from a generous perspective, figure out how to show them that you're invested in them achieving that solution even before they're invested in it themselves. A lot of times that looks like, and I think this is where I kind of need your help, but as a network marketer, I think there's some latitude in certain products you can give for them to test out, right? Maybe there's the latitude in, like I said, giving them a product to test out and then coming back and asking them what their feeling is and how it's helped their solution and things like that. I know in network marketing world, you tell me, is there a restriction on the types of products you can give out?
No. Well, I say no. I'm not the FTC, so I'm going to say I don't think so. But if what you're asking me is, can someone give samples or is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes.
So like Scout and Cellar who sells wine, they can have wine tastings, but can they they can even do it. So yes, I can't think of something where there might be something, but I'm not thinking about it.
Let's go with wine tasting. I actually really love where you just went with that. Instead of saying something like, hey, do you mind gathering 10 of your closest friends for a wine tasting party? Can you say, hey, do you have an event coming up that I can bring some of my wine so that your friends can taste it? See how those are two different positions?
Totally two different things. And that is brilliant because there are a lot of network marketing companies that have parties and they're like, hey, can I help you in that way? Which I think goes so well for the holidays, because you could say, hey, are you having Zoom get together with your girlfriends or whatever it may be? And that could be wine, it could be nail strips, it could be makeover, it could be whatever. But here's what I ask you on that, because what I do hear sometimes from people is like, but especially with wine, but I'm not trying to be someone's bartender. My goal is not to end up being the bartender or always the bartender, because what can happen is, my understanding is that then they end up being the bartender and they don't ever have the wine tasting where they want to be able to do their presentation, which I think leads to like that, to my next question, all part of this, is, what realistically, when you're taking someone on this journey, how long, because people want instant gratification, does it go from the time we can meet to the time we get married and have babies and have a baby carriage?
I love it. It depends on the level of investment, right? So if you're selling something to someone that requires low risk, for example, if, for example, your products are $5 a piece.
Yeah.
And you're selling
paparazzi jewelry, $5.
There you go. Paparazzi jewelry, $5 a piece. And you're selling it to someone who is in middle class, upper middle class, whatever. Spending $5 on jewelry, if it's appropriate, is not a huge leap for me. If, for example, and I'm just making this up. But if, for example, you're selling a timeshare, that's going to take some time.
In teletravel, they sell literally travel.
Very good. Thank you. So I didn't make that up. See, I know more about this than I thought.
I mean, it's not timeshare, but like they're selling trips, like they're travel agents.
So if you're selling trips, know that journey is going to take a lot longer. So you can't look at the person who's selling paparazzi jewelry and be like, well, she just made 20 sales this month. Boo. You're trying to book so that you're starting in January and hoping that they choose you to book their summer trip.
Yeah. Almost have to think like a real estate like selling a house.
Yes. And you're hoping that they book their summer trip with you or their Christmas trip with you. So that journey may take some time. But what you're doing is, if you're creating those relationships with people and that's all you're doing for, let's say, quarter one, because everyone just got back. We're just, again, talking hypothetically.
Like we're not in COVID.
Post-pandemic. If you're networking truly to understand your clientele and understand your audience and asking them clarifying questions about what their version of a dream trip would be, you'll be surprised as to the level of how much the place doesn't really matter.
It's the experience that matters.
It's the experience. And if you can create and curate an experience for them and then present it to them after they've trusted you, that sale is going to be so much easier.
Well, and you were kind to say we're talking about a world post-pandemic, but we're in pandemic right now. And I think that's still an excellent, unless it ends in the next 2 weeks, like, but
right.
This, which if it does, Happy New Year. Okay. But this is actually a great example, I think, with travel, because right now there are not a lot of people. My travel clients do not have a lot of business. They're getting it. It's growing, but it's not as good as it was pre. So I think about this time, this is a great time for them to be priming the pump 100%. And just putting content out there and starting that relationship and having those moments. Because that's 100%. All going to pay off when it's time.
100%. And there are still some people that aren't traveling outside of their state or outside of their province or outside of where they are. But could you not, as and again, you cut me off if I'm saying something wrong, but could you not in your portfolio figure out who's local and share with them some places that you believe in that are actually practicing, safe COVID, things? Because I know for me, I have been in the four corners of my home, office, gym, bank, school.
All the same place.
Mall, all the same place.
It's the same square.
Literally, I wake up and I live in a strip mall, shopping center, gym, office, home. My poor home has been through the ringer, like not even kidding. Like, as you can see, there goes the gym.
Oh, is that a Peloton?
It is.
Oh, you're one of those.
I'm one of those. I'm one of those. Yes, yes. I'm a very proud Peloton rider person.
No one is ever not. I've never met anyone who's not proud of being a Peloton. It's a cult.
As you can tell, I know nothing about the community, but I love my bike. But my point in saying that is, even if you could tell me like, hey, I know you don't want to like leave the state, but these places have really great open door events, or these places have really great, that kind of thing, to build the relationship. Like you said, putting out content when people are ready, or if people are just like, you know what, I'll take my chances. Like, I want to travel. Guess what? They're gonna go first.
Exactly.
They're gonna come to you as
Absolutely.
the expert. So is there a way that you can partner with some of the local places to be a referral partner for them while you're not able to book these teletravel, dream experiences? Is there a way that you can do? I don't know. I mean, you tell me.
I don't know. That's great. I don't know.
Y'all
hey, teletravel people, we're asking you. Is there a way?
Y'all let me know. Is there a way that you can do that? Because I know those places would love to have referral partners, would love to have people who affiliate for them to share the word or spread the word that, hey, we're open, we're safe. These are the activities that we have ready for you guys. And so like, I live in Georgia. You can be like, hey, folks in Atlanta, this place, they have this really great open door, outdoor, 6 feet apart, only 10 people can even be there at the same time. I think this is fantastic. Book, here's a link with your referral. And you're still making money, but you're building that awareness. You're creating content. You're showing yourself as an expert for travel, not just when the times are great, but when the times are like this. Mm-hmm. And people are looking for, I know me, like I'm looking for an inventive way to quote travel, or an inventive way to have an experience despite the pandemic. If someone in teletravel could send me a message that said, hey, this is what I have for you. And I probably shouldn't say that. Don't send me a message.
It's happening. It's too late. You said it. They won't get to
someone could fix my problem. That would be worth its weight in gold for me.
Yeah.
So kind of like thinking about all of your quotas and like all of those things as you're building those relationships, play the long game, because we're not going to be like this forever. If you can establish yourself as an expert now, then I'm coming to you for everything because I'm loyal.
Yes. And when you say that, like, I like everything what you said, but the long game is so important. And the thing about network marketing is we're taught from the beginning, oh, you can do it quickly. Oh, it's fast. It's easy. It's this. And so people
think $500 in 5 days.
Yeah. And so it's like, because of that, we lose our brains and we do some things that we wouldn't even want someone to do to us. And we try and be coachable. So we listen to whatever someone says. And it's like, no. Which kind of leads me back. I remember, I'm impressed that my brain, at least so far, I'm about to jinx myself, is still working. But if it doesn't, we all know Desola's got a design for this, so she can just.
I do. I have notes.
It probably does. I'm so not a note person that it's just so funny to say that. I'm just like, we're just going to go. So back to the wine rep who does not want to become the bartender. Your face went.
Let's talk about that. Yes. Yeah. Let's talk about that. Remember, in this scenario and in every scenario, and I love that my friends in the wine tasting are asking this question. Remember, you are in control of this encounter. You are in control at all times. It's someone else's party, but you are the expert. You exactly what you said. You didn't come here to serve wine. And that's the problem. I think people think so much about the product. Remember what I said at the top of this interview. Think about the problem you're solving. You're there to educate on wine. There are people who don't understand the value of the product that you sell, and they don't know how to parse between the good stuff and the not even worth your time stuff. You are there to educate. The wine itself is a prop. You are a wine expert. And so if you position yourself as a wine expert, never, ever, ever in that encounter will you be considered the bartender. But if you go over there and someone asks you what you do and you're like, oh, I sell wines. Would you like to taste it? You become the bartender, because what does a bartender do? They sell alcohol and they offer you a taste. That's what they do. But if you come in there and they're like, hey, what are you doing here? Hey, you know what? I actually educate people on the, art of tasting wines or whatever it is, you educate people on whatever problem you solve. You position yourself that way and you say, hey, I've got some, wines that you can taste. Let me know if you have any questions. All of a sudden, you are no longer the bartender. Bartender doesn't give you stuff and say, let me know if you have any questions about the vodka tonic. No.
Yeah.
Here you go. And this is the tip. This is the tip jar. So remember, you're still a place of business. You're still an expert. And you're there not just to serve wines to people. I think that's the generous part of it, like we talked about. But you're there to educate not just your host, but their friends on the importance of picking the right wine for whatever season or whatever occasion it is. I don't know. I don't know too much about that industry, but you see how that's a mindset shift there?
Totally. I'm only partially listening, but let me tell you why. Because I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm like, oh my gosh, I see it right now. You have to come in and do like a guest presentation for my membership.
That.
Good.
Yay!
Yay.
I don't know why she invited me to this podcast. She didn't even listen to me. I'm done. What's the name of the podcast producer? This is when Desola stopped talking.
Ignore her. She's not in charge of this podcast. Keep her.
Even though she wrote notes and designed the whole discussion, she's not in top. She's not in charge. This is still RoxTalks, y'all. Thank you so much for having me. She ain't never gonna have me on this podcast. It's fine. I'm fine. We're all fine.
I just was like, now you guys know why our call anyway that we had. It was just like, yeah. Anyhow, P.S. And by the way, that Nicole, y'all forgive this. This is in here. We're keeping on, but Nicole, my wonderful producer for the summit do you know she listens to our calls?
Yes. Now I
didn't know that.
Well, she sent me a message. She wasn't supposed to listen to the whole call, but she sent me a message. She was like, I don't understand what's happening, so I'm just going to play the whole thing. I was like, oh, don't do that.
She's like, I watched the whole thing. And she's like, I was like, yo, why don't you talk? Oh, you finally got to where I wanted y'all to go. I was like,
but that's why even in and I don't know whether we're going to leave all this in there.
We're
even
leaving
in my report back to her, I said, start at the 1 hour mark.
Well, that's your fault because it should have been an hour 15. An hour 15.
Fair. I was like,
15 minutes.
Is not going to serve you. That's not. Start at 1. What, 2.5 hour conversation we had?
Yeah.
Start at 1. Sorry. I couldn't help myself. But this is the thing. Same thing. Selling with generosity. You had a problem. And it's more important to me that your problem gets solved, because if you have a need that I can meet in the future, or I have a new product, me telling you about it, I don't have to sit there and justify my qualifications to you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to create a sales page. And that's the type of business I like to create. I don't have to I don't have to worry about what my sales copy is. I don't have to do anything. I just have to say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about, or this is what I have available. Does it meet your need? Yes or no? That eliminates so much of my cost because I leverage relationships to build my business. And exactly what just happened, totally not strategic, totally not a thing. But if we're leaving everything in here, I want you guys to pay attention to what just happened. So I met you because of Nicole. You're doing a summit. We designed your summit because I like designing things. We designed your summit, and then you asked me to come on your podcast. And I've come and we've talked for a little bit. We've talked for a little bit at this point. And in the middle of our conversation, you decided that I was going to speak to your audience. Mm-hmm. I've not sold you one thing yet.
True.
I'd
buy it though. Don't tell her.
But you would.
I would. Absolutely.
Because it's so much more important. And not just that, I'm not even so much worried about you buying it, but if you know someone who has or had the problem that you had, I don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to go to someone else.
Yeah.
If you go to someone else, I know where to find you. I don't have to worry about it. Because I'm playing the long game.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I'm playing the long game. And it's
Yeah.
more important to me to have these types of relationships where I can then, like, now I know what you do, and I can always go tell someone else what you do too. And that's why relationships are so important. And then for you guys, and let me just mention this because I don't want to forget it. If you're playing the long game, it makes your business so much more enjoyable because you're not just scrapping for the next customer. You have repeat customers. So you could literally live a cush life with people who just keep buying from you. Like you start selling water, they'll buy it. Anything you say you want to sell, they'll buy it because you chose to invest in serving them first. And that's how I love to do business, because selling is, I've been on not sales calls. I've been on one-on-one calls where people at the end of it are like, hey, how do we work together? Can you send me a payment gateway? And I was like, no, this is a one-to-one like connection call. I just wanted to see what you were doing with your business. I didn't even have my like 5 sales questions, the thing where you say the thing and then I say the thing back and then you say the thing. And I didn't even have that. But I just really, because I'm such a servant leader, by the end of it, they're like, I want whatever it is you're selling. I had a client come back to me and she was like, do you like, what's the next way I can pay you? And then I had to create a whole new product or service so that she could pay. Like, I was just like, well, we could do this. And she was like, okay, send me the contract. And I was like, I didn't even have that service before, but I guess we're doing this now.
But I do now.
I do now. But you want to be that person. You want to be that resource for your people.
And if anyone thinks that this doesn't apply to network marketing, you're missing.
100% applies. I mean, literally, think about the industry. It is called network marketing because you create a network, you market to them, and then that network gets you sales. That network grows your business. That doesn't mean that everyone in that network is a customer, but everyone in that network is a key relationship that can grow your business.
Okay, hold the phone. That's going to preach, because it's often taught everyone will be your customer, or they're going to,
be in your team,
customer, or they be on your team. And then as an afterthought, or they're going to connect you to other people. That's the afterthought, right? And let me just tell you, so the way this is often taught is lead with the business. So you start by, hey, you got a problem with your skin? Awesome. You need to sell it.
You look like you've got a little bumpy thing going on. Here you go.
You will love this. One of my dear friends, Megan Summerall, I love
Megan. She was on my summit.
You know my Megan?
I do.
That's who I was on the phone with right when we were starting. Yes. I should have told her.
Really cool. She was on my summit. She was such a darling. By the way, Megan, if you're listening to this, you are fantastic. You are a wonderful person on my summit. I am a raving fan of yours. That's fantastic.
She's amazing. So sweet, wonderful Megan, productivity coach, who's been on the podcast several times before. Woo. She was doing a video online and someone messaged her and said, I should have told the story without calling her name out, but anyhow, I saw your video and I noticed that your eyes are looking a little tired. I've got some great eye cream for you that you can use I shouldn't laugh, but listen, Megan and I always get what I'll spammy Tammy messages, but she gets like the kickers. She gets the kickers from people.
Oh, and wow.
Yeah. And the irony of it is that of course that was not appropriate what they did, but the irony of it is the cream they tried to sell her is the cream she uses.
Well, clearly your product doesn't work. If you thought my eyes were tired, you need to take that joke back up to corporate. What did you say your name was? I spoke to, we're just going to make a name up here. Ashley said my eyes were still a little bit sunken and I will require all my money back. Thank you so much, skincare line, because clearly one of your people doesn't even believe in your product because she does not see the effects of it. The end.
Oh my gosh, my cheeks are hurting.
Can we break this down for a second?
Yes.
Let's talk about a better way, perhaps, to approach something of that nature. If you're a skincare person, bless y'all. Like I get it. A lot of times you're trying to get clients or whatever who have skin issues. What you don't want to do while you identify their problem is tell them that they have one if you've never met them. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. What would have probably worked out, first of all, I wouldn't just get on somebody's video and sell my tchotchke first. I would say if you're a skincare product person, this may apply to some other things, but let's talk about that for a second. You are in the beauty industry, which is one of the industries that positions people as like positions them in their flaws, in their insecurities. You do not establish yourself as an expert to anyone who's going to be a lasting customer by highlighting their insecurities at your first meeting. That's not a thing. Because all you're going to do is either dredge up trauma, get yourself blocked, get someone to cuss you out. There are no wins in you starting out that way. Could you think about, again, let's go back to what we've been talking about this whole time. Think about the solution you provide. The solution you provide is not the product. The solution you provide is how they feel after they use your product. And so if your content is centered on how you feel after that, maybe it's centered on body positivity. Maybe it's centered on overcoming imposter syndrome. Maybe it's centered on loving yourself and loving your body. Maybe it's centered on self-care. And you come up from a position of, hey, my mission is to help people focus more on their self-care so that they're more confident and they show up as their best selves in the world. I just made that up.
It was beautiful.
Thank you. I don't remember what I just said, so replay it. But that's my mission. Whenever I'm networking with people, my first question, again, I'm not hopping on somebody's video, but as I'm creating that relationship, I'm asking them about their self-care techniques. I'm asking them, are you taking care of yourself? Are you, taking time out to, help yourself? Are you taking time out? And then you can bring that into, this is how you should take care of your skin. And again, you're an educator. Go ahead.
So I love this. And I can see all the posts and the things about this that people can do. But if I'm having a conversation with someone on a DM, because it's DM, like, do you remember Girls Gone Wild?
Yes.
You remember? Not for that. Oh, that was super weird for me to say. I know. But remember, I'm working on like minimal sleep. But this should be called like DMs gone wild.
Insane.
Okay. That's where I was going with that. But when you're having a DM with someone and you're DMing with them and you're asking them, say the question, are you taking care of yourself? And if they say no, I'm not. In fact, I don't have time to even wash my face.
I love that.
What's the next thing you're going to say?
The next thing I would say is what I would position from is to educate them on how to create the time to wash their face first.
Ding, 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 ding. Now, how many of you were listening were thinking, what I want to say is, As a matter of fact, if you just spray your face, you don't have to wash it for 14 days. Yeah, but those are the steps. If you don't because I think in DMs gone wild, people miss. That's gonna be my new. That's
DMs gone wild
bonus. DMs gone wild.
I love it.
I love it too.
Please teach the people so that they stop sending me messages.
You get them too, then
Oh my God.
Yeah, please send them to me because you know what I do in my free Facebook group, Social Media for Network Marketers. I protect the names that I post those from time to time. Like, this is not for us to hate on anyone.
Don't do it.
It's because y'all, when one person does it, the network marketing industry,
all of y'all look
we
bad.
all did it. We all did
100%,
that.
by the way.
And
teach your teams that. Also, team leaders, whenever you see that in the free group, share it with your team and say, if they unprotect these names and one of y'all names on this list, I wish y'all would. I need y'all to do that. Like, team leaders, this is also your responsibility, because remember, you're building a team. So
That's
don't
right.
just see the stuff on the free groups and just pass it by, because that could be your people.
It and
That could have been the
sometimes it
chick that
is.
sent our friend, who shall not be named because hopefully we take her name out, but that could have been the person who sent her that message.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, that's my soapbox on it.
No, you're good. No, but but I wanted to ask you that, and I knew you'd answer it correctly because
Thanks.
when you're
What if I
well
fail?
done, that's for you. When you're programmed to lead with your business or your product, you
Sure.
skip that. And if you're listening and you're like, oh, I would have told her about my face wash, you're
And send the
missing
link.
you wanted to get me and send the link. You miss the wanting to get married before you actually get to know the person.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And what you want to do, and I know this is something you teach, so I know you'll love this, is when that person says, you know what, I actually just don't even have time to, I don't have time to I barely have time to brush my teeth at this point. I don't have time to wash my face. Cool. Do you mind if I send you a resource that's going to super help you? It's going to take you maybe like a couple minutes. All I'm asking for is like 2 minutes a day. And and your resource is gated. Now you have an email address.
And by gated, she means a lead gen. So you've
That's
got that
what I meant.
landing page.
My bad.
Yeah. No, you're gated. That's fine. That's fine. So they have to give you their email address to get that resource.
Yes.
P.S. And by the way, the resource wasn't a product. It wasn't costing them any money.
It was education.
It
was education, because what you want them to do is understand that the solution won't overcome the objection to getting to the solution. In my mind, if I don't have time to wash my face, which that used to be me, and you say I have a product, now you've put even more burden on me, because now I am beholden to using that product, even though I don't know how to use it. I just told you I have problems with washing my face. Dang it, I can go to the nearest grocery store and buy a whole bunch of products. If I had time to wash my face, you have still not fixed my problem. You have now given me one more thing to think about.
I'm so loving this. I just am getting so excited.
It's true though.
Yes. It's solving the problem.
Not the solution.
No.
Your product is the prop. Solve their problem. And then use the product as a prop to get there. It's a vehicle. That's all it is. Wine tasting. You're creating an experience. You're using wine as a prop to create an experience.
Love that. I love that. Have you taken us on the whole journey?
That's a good question. Because we have made a few tangents. So again, apologies.
My journey has some stops. We got to stop at the store.
So let's talk about the journey. If we want to take this as a clip, or if we want to use this for something else, let's talk about the journey. So we talked at length about strangers. So stranger danger. I talk about the fact that once they become a stranger and then they come into your world, into your community, they're still just an audience member. And if you can think of an audience member as someone who's in the free market or in the farmer's market, walking up and down the farmer's market, just kind of looking around, picking things up and putting it down, picking things up and putting it down. The people at the farmer's market are considered what's called vendors. So people are still looking at you as a vendor, which is why when you come and the person who, contacted in the DM skipped a whole bunch of steps. But if I'm just meeting you, or if I just joined your community, you DMing me with a link to buy your thing, you're assuming that I want to do business with you. And I'm just walking by. And guess what happens when you go to the farmer's market and someone's like, here, it's 3 for $5. What do? You start walking faster. Every time. Even if that's what you wanted, you're walking faster, because it's oh, buddy, I don't know you.
It's the perfume person.
Yeah, it's do I smell bad? Why are you all up in my face? And so they're going from a stranger to an audience member. You become a vendor to them. They're just kind of checking you out to see whether they want to hang out. When they become a prospect, that would be after what we talked about. You just sent them a video or a quick resource that helps remind them to wash their face. And then you say, hey, do this for me for the next 3 days. Let me know how you feel about that. Now they're a prospect and they're considering you as an option. They're considering working with you, meaning that now you're deepening that relationship and you're making sure that they trust you. That's really where you want to get that trust. And then After they become a prospect and you overcome the objections, they become your customer and you become the solution. Remember, we were talking about how your product is not the solution. They have a bigger problem. It's just a prop. Okay. So you become the solution, but it's also not where it stops, right? So now I've bought your thing. What happens, and this is not just with network marketing, it's with most business. You send them the product, you say thank you, and you move on to the next victim. I mean, well, you were chasing me down when you wanted me to pay you. Now you're nowhere to be found. You mean check on me, send me no more emails. You send me like one email every couple days. I ain't heard from you in like 2 weeks. How do you think that that sale is going to stick if you don't come alongside them and say, hey, congratulations on your sale. I know that your big problem was washing your face. And so remember what I told you about this product. If you use it at this time and this time, if you want to set an alarm, shoot. If you want me to call you until this becomes a habit for you, I can do that. Or here are some additional resources, or here are some additional tools that can help you use this to the max capacity.
Can that email or that communication, so it's been coming from you, they buy. How do you feel about that then being passed off to the company, sending them company emails on how to use something?
I'm not a fan of that. You already knew. I feel like you set me up.
I did. You did a good job though. Well done.
Because they didn't agree to get into a relationship with the company because your product is not the solution. Your product is a prop. They didn't choose to become, they didn't choose relationship with the company. They chose a relationship with you. They're doing business with you as the entrepreneur and as the business owner. Again, you're selling products that sure belong to another company, but they're just vehicles for you to achieve transformation for the people as the expert, which is why when you sell them a product, you don't ghost them. You offer additional education. Hey, if you have any problems, here are some quick tips to help you overcome those problems. If anything else happens, you have my phone number. Call me immediately. If there are any customer service issues, if it's something that's supposed to be on repeat or like a subscription or something like that, if you order it and it's supposed to come today and it didn't come today, my phone number is the first number you call because they're doing business with you. And you want to take care of them and again, be generous at that level because that increases the trust and it deepens the relationship and it gets them to stick with you for a lot longer than one sale. Your goal as a business owner is to turn those one-time buyers into repeat buyers. It's to do business with a small group of people that literally will fund your business over and over and over again. It takes way more time, like we talked about at the top of this. Yes, it's not that hard, but it takes intention to sell with generosity. It takes way more time for me to meet somebody for the first time, do this whole song and dance, ask them whether or not they do the self-care thing, then send them a resource, then for them to be like, oh, I didn't actually wash my face. Then we do this all over again. And then they finally get to the sale. Or I could go to my existing customer and say, hey, any changes with your skincare or your self-care since you started using my product? Cool. Here's another product, or here's another thing that can help even enhance your experience or enhance your experience even more. And that's the level that's past that customer solution level that I call the fan level or the ambassador level. Now that you've solved their problem the first time, they're going to encounter new problems that you are positioned to solve. And a lot of people are so focused on that one sale, and again, not playing that long game to think through, now that they're washing their face, what's the next thing I probably should share with them so that their entire facial care is better? You're thinking about selling a bundle from the gate, but if you can sell somebody a face wash, maybe the next thing they want to do is moisturize. Or you lose the sale because you don't send them any education, but you're like, hey, my face wash bundle for a low price of $19.99 is the same. And when I say $19.99, I mean $1,999 because that's crazy, right? You can get the UV ray and you can get the mask. Plus you can get, the toner, which we're giving away for free. Thank you. Right? Like, what are you doing? But if I can get you to commit to a face wash, maybe the next thing we start talking about is your moisturizing technique.
That's right.
And so now I don't have to prove to you that I'm a skincare expert. You already know that. Now you trust me. And I'm like, hey, you're doing really great about washing your face, but hey, this is going to be what makes your face more supple. This is going to be what makes, that kind of thing. But now I'm just talking to it's like going to the doctor and the doctor is saying you need to take more vitamins. They're selling you the vitamins, but you're over here like, what's the name? And then the next place you go to is where? The pharmacy, because your doctor told you to do it. And that's the level of influence and that's a level of authority that you'll have over somebody that you've taken care of. They will do everything you say. And when you realize the level of responsibility that takes, you take that very seriously and you consider how you're serving them. So like I said, by the time they become a fan, they're just buying everything you sell. Mm-hmm. You've helped me learn how to wash my face. You've identified a new problem that we can solve together. And because I already trust you or trusted you with that first sale, overcoming the next objection for the next sale is like nothing. Like you don't even realize that you sold.
Yeah.
But you did.
But you did. That's brilliant. I have to cut you off. We have to stop.
I forgot to mention this too. That's usually what happens to me on podcast interviews.
Oh, really? Only
because all the time.
I don't want to. We could keep going, but I have I got somewhere to be after this. Like coaching clients coming up. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay.
I don't even know what time it is. We should pay attention. 6:15. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
That's kind of important.
Yeah.
Bye guys. Thanks so much.
Hang on. I love this so much. Desola, how do people find you?
I am on Instagram most of the time. Please find me at Desola Davis. Send me a DM and tell me how we know each other. I love hearing how people come into my world. And let me know what tchotchke you're selling and what the solution is.
Yeah, don't message her.
Don't sell to me though, because I'm going to send it to Rox. And I'm going to tell her to unprotect because you were told not to do that.
Oh my gosh, you are such a joy. I'm so glad and so excited that we're going to continue this. And this is to be continued. Thank you for saying yes on the spot and being here, because I know that people need to hear this. It's so, so important. It's going to help them become the CEOs they're meant to be and not just coachable, glorified business people is what I like. Sales people is what I like to call them. So yeah. You rock. Okay. We do have to end though. So we're going to say goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Go out and be great.
Wasn't Desola amazing? I told you guys, there's so many great nuggets in there that I really think you might want to listen to the podcast again. It's really going to help you get clear on your customer sales journey. And I'm not kidding. She is going to be a guest trainer in the Social Stories membership. So if you're not a member yet, you probably should be one, because I'm hoping that we'll get her in the next 30 to 45 days. I'll get right on that because it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a great way for you to kick off 2021 because we're almost there. We're going to roll right into behind the scenes. And what I want to just tell you guys right now is what's going on. So you heard in the podcast, this is the day after the election is when we're recording this. And yes, it's true. I did not sleep. This week has really all for me has been helping the network marketers in my free group, Social Media for Network Marketers, as well as my Social Stories members, get really clear on what to post and how to post it so that they are present on social media right now, but they're not upsetting anyone, right? You want to be pitch perfect and not tone deaf. So that has been a joy. And it really, while I am on very little sleep, it has been so great to just see them flourish because I'm seeing a lot of why'd they do that? But y'all have been rocking it. So I want to congratulate you on really being pitch perfect and really being empathetic because it goes a long way. All right. So that's all I have that's my focus this week. I kind of blocked other goodies out so that I can focus on y'all. And I can't stop a podcast without saying to you the most important thing. You're not ahead. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be, even if it's tired and you've had no sleep. And I'm so happy you're here with me listening to RoxTalks. So thank you so much. And I can't wait to see you next week for another great episode. Y'all take care. Bye.